What would it feel like to be truly, deeply happy, regardless of your circumstances? Did you know that happiness is a choice and not a result? That you can create your life on purpose? Join us now to learn more. This is the Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. And here's your host, mindset coach, and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott.
Hello and welcome. Hello, happy Friday, and more importantly, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever that is for you. Thank you so much for being with me today. You are with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott, and today's show is called The Gift of You. We are going to be talking about shifting our perspectives so that we can actually begin to understand the contribution that we are to the world. Isn't that exciting? So here's what I'm going to suggest before we even start is grab yourself a pen and paper. Make sure that you've got it with you. If you don't catch everything, then you can always go back on inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and find the recording of today's show so that you can go back and make some notes or think about things in a different way, whatever it is that will work for you. But please go ahead and do that. And by the way, just so you can see, I am wearing my Christmas sweater. Yay! It's so great to be at this time of the year. I've got to tell you, this is my favorite time of year ever, ever, ever. I love there's just there's something about this time of year, where like we can be more playful and silly and fun. And, maybe we can tap into that magic of the Christmas season, that believing that the world is a good place, believing that things are possible, believing in magic, believing that people are good, all of that stuff. Even I found myself the other day, I was driving around busy, and I remember having this thought process of like, somebody had, I don't know, cut me off or done something silly while they were driving. It wasn't anything major, nobody got hurt, but it was something where I just went, and then I went, wait a second, no. No, it is that time of year, Jackie, and you are going to have some kindness for people and offer some grace. It's no big deal. We're going to offer some grace and allow people, yeah. So what if we could do that all year long? What if we could be in the space of allowing grace, of tapping into magic, of believing in ourselves, believing that things could happen that we don't even realize are possible for us? This is the goal. This is the thing. This is the way that I have been working on living my life for the last couple of years. And I promise you, things have shifted in such amazing and wonderful ways. So today we're going to talk about this thing about the gift of you. It's an interesting idea, and it's one that we don't hear very often, right? We get kind of caught up in our way of doing things, our way of living our lives, the ideas and conditioning that are important, all of that kind of stuff. We get sort of caught up in that. And then this space of believing that who we are is amazing. Who we are is a contribution. Who we are is a gift to the world. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. On Time to Rise and Thrive, what we talk about is our subliminal soundtrack, getting it working for us rather than against us. And also this idea of seeing your unique beauty, your unique brilliance, and how you can bring that into your day-to-day life. That is what this show is about. And every week I'm here. Every week I've got something that I'm pulling together to share with you those ideas, like how can you be a positive contribution to the world? It's not even that hard. That's the truth. And this is what we're going to talk about today. So, do you understand that you're a contribution to everyone in your life? Do you know that you make an impact on the entire world just by being you? Today, we're talking about the gift of you and how by recognizing that you can create a ripple effect. A ripple effect. Think about that for a second. I mean, we're going to go deeper into it later, but think about that. A ripple effect. And what could that mean? When you show up as the gift of you, you can't help but create a positive impact on the people around you, on your circumstances. You can't help it. It's just the thing that happens. So if you'd like maybe a little bit more fun, a little bit more joy, a little bit more laughter, a little bit more playful in your life, it's not that hard to make that happen. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that wonderful? I'm telling you, the mindset stuff that I have shifted over the last few years, oh, my life is totally different now. Totally different now. I show up differently than I did. It is such a gift. It's such a gift to think about that thing. So, how can you do that? First, we're going to talk about the subliminal soundtrack so you understand what I'm talking about. It is this loop of messages that plays in the back of your mind all day, every day. It's made up of little bits of information that you've gathered throughout the course of your life. Every conversation you've had, every relationship you've been part of, every lesson you've learned, every single experience has given you little bits of information that have gotten stored back there on that subliminal soundtrack. And we use that information to create our belief systems about ourselves, about what's possible for us, about everything in this life, in this world. So, if you are somebody who is grown up with these ideas that maybe, shining your light, that whole idea about arrogance or about making other people uncomfortable or whatever that thing is for you. And I'll share with you some of my challenges that I've experienced with this. But if you're somebody who has sort of been conditioned in your childhood or even in your later years that this thing is not good, then you will likely not, you'll avoid, you'll avoid opportunities to show up in your gifts. You will likely never tap into that magic that only you have. It's amazing what could be inside there. Just think about that Christmas morning. What if you could unwrap that gift of you for yourself, for your family, for everybody in your world? What if you could do that? Hmm. Would you like to know that that's possible? Because it is. It is. All right. So if, on the other hand, you have belief systems that help you to really understand that there is only one of you, therefore, there is only one of you who can bring those gifts, those talents, whatever they may be. And I mean, they can be big. You could be some, musician where you're going to end up on big stages. You could be somebody who cares for children in a very unique way. And so you impact those kids. You could be somebody who just is really great at making something or baking something or whatever it is. Do you see what I'm saying? But that unique gift is yours and yours alone. You are the only person who can do it that way. Now, when you start to understand that and you build that belief system, is when you will start to be encouraged to uncover those gifts, to really understand what makes you so unique and so special, and start to find or create opportunities for you to bring those things to the world. You will change lives, yours, your people around you, and as we'll get into in the last segment of the show, your your actions, your magic, your thing could change the entire world. hmm It might just. And we're going through this crazy time in history. And somebody and I were talking just this morning about this pandemic, and now we've got this new variant and blah, blah, all of that stuff. And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that. I'm tired of it. I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of this thing. And also, I understand that now more than ever, we need to bring that positive, to bring that belief, to bring that hope to the world, because otherwise I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to really encourage you to stick with me through the show. Grab that pen and paper, make some notes, contact me if you have any questions about what we're talking about here. And I'll also give you some information about how to reach me outside of the show as we go along. So one thing that I talk about this quite a bit, and I want to share with you really, really clearly today. There is and only ever could be one of you. Now follow me on this, okay? Because there has never been another person who was born into the same family unit at the same time in history with the same genetics, with the same personality traits, with the same gifts, the same flaws, the same experiences, the same circumstances. There's never been another you, never. And there never could be, because all of those things have influenced who you became. So if there's never been another one of you, what if that gift that you're kind of hiding or not embracing, not bringing into the world is exactly the thing that could help you to create the life that you've always dreamed of? You know, those things that we secretly, maybe we don't talk about them a lot, but those things that we want, those things that we desire, those sparks of imagination or whatever that is, those sparks of ideas that you're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if somebody did this? Well, wouldn't it be cool if you did that? Maybe there's not anybody else that could do it the same way you can. So just consider this, like really, let's pull this apart this morning. Let's pull this apart and understand what this means. There is this thing, like consider the odds, consider the fact that there were millions of cells that were involved in the creation process of you. Millions. And two came together to create you with the body that you have, with the, all of those attributes, your eye color, your hair color, whether you have hair or you don't, all of those things, your smile, your laugh. Two cells out of millions came together to create this body and this being that you are. Think about that for a second. I mean, I think that your odds of winning a lottery worth millions of dollars are probably better than those two cells, these specific two cells. Do you see what I'm saying? You're a miracle. You are the only one of you, the only person that can do what you can do in the way that you do it, the only person that can say or sing or whatever that gift that you have. There's not another person on the planet who can do the thing that you can do in the way that you can do it. This is so important to this understanding, this getting, like really getting that you have a unique contribution to make to this planet and to the people who are on this planet with you, whether they're people that you live with, whether they're people that you work with, whether they're people that you like impact through any other, like could be your social circle. It could be that you volunteer someplace. It could be that you have a brilliant idea for an invention or a medicine or like anything that could go global and change the entire world. Do you understand that? If you don't, I'm going to seriously encourage you to stick with me today and to find me. Find me on Facebook, Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert. Almost every day I record something I call the Mindful Moment. And it's a little video that we talk about something that I'm thinking about, something that, helps me consider things in a bit of a different perspective, or any number of other things. Sometimes it's a laugh. Sometimes it's something that I read, whatever it is, right? So find me on Facebook, Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert. You can find me on my website at jackiemott.com. And of course, you can find me every week on Friday afternoon on the Inspired Choices Network.com. So also, I'm just going to throw this out really quick before we go to break. There is a relatively new company called Boomerang Give to Get. Bruce Cruikshank is another one of our hosts here on ICN. He has his own show. I'm not sure when it goes live, but Bruce and his partner have created this personal development company where they have people like me who present ideas, who present, thoughts about money, about life, about mindset, about all kinds of different stuff. Oh, Haley says Wednesday at 4 p.m. Bruce's show. And what is it called, Haley? So this Boomerang Give to Get is a membership. It's a subscription based program. And I also go and record or present live there. You can find me all over the place. Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert. You will find me any number of different places. Bruce's show is called Your Life on Purpose. Thank you, Haley. So have a look, if you haven't already, have a look at that Boomerang Give to Get membership. I don't know off the top of my head what the website is, but go and have a look at that. You'll see some information about that on my page on Facebook, and we're working on creating a page on my website to also give some information about that program and about how you can tap into, I think it's 5 hours a week of personal development on money, on life, on mindset, and all kinds of different stuff. So there you go. Now we are going to head to our first break. If you haven't already, don't forget to grab that piece of paper and a pen. Today we are talking about, what are we talking about? Wait a minute. Shifting our perspectives and understanding the contribution that you are to the world. You are with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Jackie Mott. We will be back in just a moment.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott, and today we are talking about shifting our perspectives and beginning to understand the gift that we are to the world, to our people, to everything. It's a big thing to get a handle on this. So in this segment, I want to talk about the kinds of things that can keep us stuck, that can cause us to hide or shy away from this amazing thing that we truly are. And it, in some cases, it actually causes people to never, ever quite see this about themselves. This is why I'm here every week talking about the stuff that I am. This is why I'm on Give to Get, talking about the things that I'm talking about there. It's so important. If you want to have this bulletproof belief system in yourself, that rock solid, bulletproof belief in yourself, there is only one way to get it. You got to do some work. You've got to start to uncover this stuff. You've got to start to appreciate yourself and who you are. And the best way to do that is to understand how amazing and brilliant and beautiful you are all by yourself. I love it. I love it. Okay. So, in this segment, we're going to talk about what keeps us stuck. So, for me, and usually I talk about these things from my perspective because that is what I know. That's how I've learned the lessons that I've learned. And for me, this thing was very much influenced by the conditioning of how I was raised. Now, I'm not saying that with any kind of judgment or anything else. It is really important for us to understand those things that are influencing that subliminal soundtrack, because what we believe to be true will be true for us, even if it's based on completely incorrect information, right? So when we get clear on what's happening, then we can start to shift it and change it. And if you're somebody who needs a bit of help with that, I'm here. I'm here. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I've got programs and classes and master classes and all kinds of stuff going on. So if that's one of the things that you struggle with and you need maybe a bit of a help to kickstart how to shift those things, let me know. I'm here. So again, this conditioning, right? Because that's really what it boils down to, is the ideas that we were raised with. And again, no judgment whatsoever. Things change over time. People change over time. And how things were done 30 years ago, maybe not anywhere near how things are done now. Do you see what I'm saying? So for me, a lot of this revolved, what I realized as I was working through my own things, my own stuff, was that a lot of this revolved around sort of the biblical teachings. I know. And it's interesting because now that I am in a completely different mindset, when I read those same things, I feel differently about the meaning behind them. Isn't it interesting? So the things that I think were most impactful when it comes to this is that it was good to be meek, to be humble, to be selfless and giving. Those were good, right? So if you wanted to be a good girl, if you wanted to be a nice girl, if you wanted to be the kind of person who was going to go to heaven, then it was important for you to be meek, to be humble, to be selfless and giving, even if that took something from you that maybe wasn't helpful for you. Think about that for a second. To be those things, this is where I think, in my experience, this bastardization, and I use that word very, very purposely. There is this bastardization that has happened of these ideas that people like me, and I'm not saying that everybody experienced them the same way, but people like me created understandings and belief systems around things that are really kind of messed up. Being humble, we can be humble and still be proud of ourselves. We can be humble and still understand that we have a gift. We can be humble and still do what we were born to do, whatever that may be. Do you see what I'm saying? The act of owning that thing does not make us arrogant. Arrogant is an attitude. Arrogant is a thing that we feel like we are better than other people. But what if our willingness to understand our gifts and our unique beauty, what if that was the thing that allowed us to also see that in other people, to make a space where everybody can show up in their unique beauty, being who they are? Like, without apology, that their most authentic self. What if our being willing to stand in that space allowed other people to see their own beauty and their own gifts and their own uniqueness? What if it helped crack somebody else open? Because I will tell you this, when you are in this space of not being who you be, you will twist yourself up in knots. You will cut yourself off from blessings, from relationships, from opportunities. You will cut yourself off because you are limiting yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? So you are actually blocking everything that was meant for you. I'm going to say that again because it is so important to understand this. When you refuse to allow yourself to show up in your uniqueness, in your authenticity, you are blocking anything that was meant for you. So we can't show up for other people. We can't have those things, wanting to have nice things does not make you greedy. Do you see what I'm saying? There is so much wrapped up in this stuff that we're talking about. Wanting to have nice things, wanting to be respected, wanting to be treated with kindness and compassion is your birthright. Not even the wanting of those things, the having of those things is your birthright. Do you understand? So blocking all of those blessings, blocking all of those relationships, blocking the opportunities for you to do the thing that you do so well, it is robbing you and robbing the world. I heard a story a few years ago where there was a lady in a class, and somehow or other it got passed from her facilitator in that class down to somebody else, and eventually I heard this story. So this lady had shown up in this class, and what they were talking about was like freeing up your voice, opening up your voice, being able to speak and project and all of that kind of stuff. And as they were going through this class, this lady, she was asked to sing a song and she refused wholeheartedly. Somebody had told her when she was a little girl that she had a terrible singing voice, and she had grabbed that piece and that piece of information, and she had stored it back there, and she created this belief system that she had a terrible singing voice and she should not share that with the world. What happened is, as they broke through that stuff, that messaging, that belief system, this lady eventually did get up on stage and sing. And she sang like a beautiful bird. She had a gorgeous voice. So for all those years, she had been hiding that gift from the world because she believed that it wasn't true. Do you see what I'm saying? So she had hidden that from herself. How much joy and pleasure might she have brought into her world or to the people around her if she had been understanding that that belief, that piece of information was incorrect, and creating a different belief system that was based on correct information? She had a beautiful singing voice. She didn't even know it until they started to do this work to break free of it. So we've only got a couple more minutes. And as much as I've got so much to say on this subject, man, I really should do a series on this. But here's the thing. The other thing that I think it keeps us sort of stuck and not doing this thing is fear. Now, this can be fear of standing out. It can be fear of that appearing arrogant that I just talked about a moment ago. It can be a fear of responsibility. It can be a fear of, what does this thing mean? Like, what if I've got a beautiful singing voice, then what does that mean? Does that mean that I need to use that all over the place and become some mega star? Or could it be that I use that to soothe my kids when they're getting ready to go to sleep? To, I don't even know, but to bring pleasure to my family, to my spouse, to my whomever. what is the responsibility that comes along with this? What does it mean for me to embrace this beautiful thing? Do you see what I'm saying? So there's all kinds of fear. An important thing to say in that area is, in cases where people have been abused, there can be a fear of unwanted attention. Now, I know that this was one of the things that was true for me. There is a fear of unwanted attention, and we create those blockages to protect ourselves because we are afraid. What does it mean if I step out into the light? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Haley says, I realized I am a gift to my children. If nothing else, I have changed 2 lives in this world. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. I love that you can embrace that, Haley. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we're going to head to our next break. I've got so much to say. I've got to try to stay on track today. You're with us on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Jackie Mott. Grab that pen and paper if you haven't already. We are going to go into some of the things that you can do to start to shift this mindset for yourself in our next segment. So stick with us for just a couple of minutes. We will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? Our subliminal soundtrack plays in the back of our minds 24/7. It's filled with everything we've ever learned about money, relationships, body, and sexuality, about every single aspect of our lives. If you don't have what you desire, the Subliminal Soundtrack Reset program may be the very key to changing it all. In this 8-week program, designed by Jackie Mott, you'll learn to replace messages that stop your desires with new ones that not only support you in creating what you truly desire, but expand your life to higher levels of joy and pleasure. Go to phoenixcoach.ca today to sign up and begin creating your life on purpose.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Jackie Mott, and today we are talking about the gift of you. What could change for you if you were willing to shift that perspective? How would you show up differently in the world with that understanding and that knowledge? Love this stuff. So before I forget, I just want to share with you that, again, Facebook is Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert. And I'm going to be doing a free masterclass on December 30th. So if you are seeing this before December 30th, please find that page on Facebook and have a look at the information. It is going to be probably about an hour, and we're going to be talking about this exact subject. We're going to be talking about the gift of you and why it is so important for you to understand that and bring that energy into your life, into your world. So it will be a 1 hour live masterclass on December 30th. I'm not sure what the time is right now. Find me on Facebook and you will find this information. It has become, almost, in all honesty, it's become a mission for me to really start to help people understand this thing. Like, what if 2022, you could completely change your life? I'm telling you, like, seriously, I'm going to say that I've been really focused on this maybe for the last couple of years. I've been working on personal development for much longer than that, but like really digging in and working on thing, this thing of like, who am I and what do I bring to the table? Who am I? And wow, it is amazing what brings me pleasure, what brings me joy, all of that kind of stuff. It has been a really intense couple of years for me because I have chosen to do that, going into my life again as a single woman, as opposed to that long-term marriage, shifted a lot of stuff, and opportunities showed up as a result. Difficult situation, painful situation, absolutely 100%. And without that happening, without those circumstances, all of this, I mean, I probably wouldn't have a show right now. I wouldn't be talking to you about these things. I wouldn't be doing the work that I'm doing. There's so much that has changed, and I wouldn't have that sense of fulfillment and joy and the the yummy. I don't even have another word. The yummy of creating these things and hearing from people. Jackie, thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for presenting that idea. Thank you for saying things the way you say them. It is so amazing to me. And so it's important for us to understand what's happening back there and use that information to help us. Okay? So here is where we are going to get into the nut of this, the meat of this thing. So it really all revolves around this exercise that I was given in one of my coaching certifications. So that one was called, what was it called? Strategic Intervention Coach Training. It was a 100-hour coaching only. Okay. So we had to do 100 hours of coaching practice. It was actually like a really deep program, and loved it. I think it took me about 6 months to complete it. It was awesome because you could work at your own pace and whatever. And one of the exercises that they gave us in that coach training, I'm going to say it really changed how I perceived myself, like really on a very, very, very deep level. So I'm going to share that exercise with you today and walk you through how do we do this. Now, sometimes people give me a little bit of a pushback on this because you need to actually ask for some help. Some of us don't do that very well. So if you're one of those people, I'm just going to ask you to just blow right past that idea, whatever that thing is that causes you to find it difficult to reach out and ask for help. And just don't even think about it. Okay. So here's the exercise. I'm going to ask you to find 10 people who love you for exactly who you are, who see you for exactly who you are, and who will be honest with you. Okay. So I know that that's a bit of a tall order, but I'm going to ask you to try to find 10 people. So 10 people. Yes. Haley says, ooh, that's a lot. You might be amazed how easy it is for you to find them. You might be amazed. Okay. They can be friends. They could be family members. They could be people you work with. It could be anybody. All right. People who know you, people who have seen you in action, people who understand who you are, who the essence of you is, who appreciate you. Okay. If you can't find 10, find 5. If you can't find 5, find 3. I don't care what the number is. I'm going to say that your goal is 10. And there's a very good reason for that. Your goal is 10 But if you can't find 10, find as many as you can. Okay. So you're going to go to these 10 people and you're going to say, I've been asked to do some homework, or I've been asked to do this task or this project or whatever it is, and I need your help. Okay. That's how you're going to start the conversation. I've been asked to do this thing and I need your help. Okay. Doesn't matter that it's me that's asking you to do it. You've been asked to do this thing and I need your help. Okay. You're going to go to them and ask them that. And what you're going to ask them to do is you're going to ask them to give you 10 adjectives that they would use to describe you. 10 adjectives that they would use to describe you. It's very simple. And then you're going to sit and wait. Now, you may need to try to find more people because, some people just are not going to be very comfortable. I'm going to say if you end up with 6 or 7 responses from this thing, that should give you enough information to accomplish the goal of the exercise. If you get at least 6 or 7, I don't think that you would have, in all honesty, less than 5. I don't think that you would have enough scope, if that makes any sense. Think about it like a survey almost. Do you see what I'm saying? So the responses that you get are going to give you information. Now, when I did this exercise in my coach training, it was amazing. I don't know how many, I reached out to a bunch of people because I really wanted for 10 of them to respond. Now, I think I probably got 8 or something, which is pretty good. And there was, it was so interesting and so informative because these were 8 different people. So a lot of them knew me in different ways. A lot of them had different types of experiences with me. And what you're going to get out of this is you're going to get an understanding of how you actually show up. Not that you like how you think or would like to think that you show up, but how you actually show up in this world. So what was so fascinating was when I got these responses, it was like, wow, 6 or whatever the number was, like most of them said this. Most of them said, I'm loving. Most of them said, I give great hugs. Most of them said, I'm so much fun, or I make them laugh. Most of them said, do you see what I'm saying? So that now we're getting into the step 2 part of it, where you're actually going to sort of sit with the results that come back to you. Yeah. So it was so interesting because I had so many people that said whatever that one thing was about me. And that caused me to really think. I was like, wow, so if 2 people said that I was funny, then that's a different thing than if almost everybody said I was funny, isn't it? Do you see what I'm saying? So when the more information that we get, the easier it is for us to actually create those connections, right? Because if 8 people say that I'm funny, then that's a bit different than if only 2 did, isn't it? Right? So it allows you this space where you can actually show or see how you're showing up, see how people see you. And we can't do that in our real life. And there's a very important reason why we can't do that in our real life. We don't see ourselves in action. Do you see what I'm saying? When I look in the mirror in the morning or at night, or whenever I look in the mirror, I see Jackie as I know Jackie, as I perceive her. Do you see what I'm saying? So when I perceive Jackie, I know every single stupid thing Jackie has ever said or done. I know every mistake. I know everything, every single time that I have done something unkind or foolish that has hurt somebody that I care about. When I see myself in the mirror, all of that, along with the love and the kindness and the funny and the blah, blah, and the blah, blah, all of that is what I see. Okay. When I show up in this person's world in that way, whatever way they've said, if I show up as a loving person in this person's world, then I'm not going to see that because I'm not walking around with a mirror or a camera crew who's recording me every minute of every day. I am just in my being at that moment, being that loving person or that funny person or whatever it is. Do you see what I'm saying? There is no way, unless you are being recorded and watching yourself all the time, that you will show up, or I'm sorry, that you will see how you show up. Because when I smile at a stranger on the street, do I see myself? No. But the truth of the matter is that that person may have needed that smile more than anything else at that moment. That's the truth. They may have needed somebody just to be kind to them for a moment. And that might be the thing that turns their day around or turns their life around. There are people who have come with stories of, I didn't want to be alive anymore, but then somebody said or did something that changed that for me. Do you see what I'm saying? It is so very important. We don't even realize how important it is. Your kindness could change somebody's life. It's amazing. So important for us to pay attention. So look for those similarities, look for those similar words, look for whatever. And we need to really be in a place of non-judgment. Okay, curiosity. I'm looking at this from a logical place. I'm not being judgmental because maybe some of the things that come back are not going to feel very nice. And I want you to understand that that is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing to get the feedback that helps you understand. You know, if everybody comes back and says you're short-tempered, then maybe that is the thing that you need to hear or see in order to start to change that and show up in a kinder way, in a way that is easier for people to be around. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is just information. Don't let it be more than a thing that you are rolling around and being curious with, because you don't want to give it the power that can actually set you back. Okay. So the last thing in this is, how does this change your perspective about yourself? How does it change? So if, for example, you get that short-tempered thing, how does it change your perspective? Does it help you understand something? Maybe it's a behavior, maybe it's a tone of voice, maybe it's a like, maybe you don't even mean to come off that way, but on the other side, that's how it's heard. It may be something that is you're completely oblivious to, and that's okay, because now you have that piece of information. And if you choose to, you can work on that. You can try to soften it or present it in a bit of a different way. Maybe your intention was never to cause somebody else to feel like that. Or you can do what I have learned to do and own it. You know, like, oh crap, I was short with you, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? And that is your power place, owning what you are doing and causing around you, the impact that you are having on yourself and everyone else, owning that, becoming conscious of that, and actually purposeful in how you are doing that. That is more empowering than anything else that I can think of. Okay. So you get to choose how you show up. And this feedback can be incredibly helpful to help you see what's going on and where you're doing great and where maybe you're not doing in a way that you would like. And you can start to change that, my friend. You can change that once you understand what's happening and what's going on. Okay. So don't look at this from that judgmental place. Look at it from a curiosity and like, how can I use this information maybe to show up in a different way, in a way that I can be proud of myself. Yes. All right. So we do not have time, unfortunately, to go to our last break. So we have Haley with us, and she has been so kind as to let us keep going. So I want to talk now about this ripple effect. And this is a really big subject. It's a really big subject. So I'm very much considering that I might just create some sort of masterclass just on this thing. So I want to share with you how I began to understand, how I came to understand this thing. Years and years and years ago, I was in this business and somebody asked us what our why was. And it's important. It's important for us to understand what makes us tick, what's going to help us keep going when things get tough, that kind of stuff. So that's what it was about. That's what that whole thing was about, was what is your why? And I sat with that for a while. And what I came up with was this massive vision, this huge vision for myself. I wanted to start this center. I wanted to create this space. I could see the building, man. I could walk through the halls. I could hear things. I could smell things. I could see things that became very, very, very real for me. Right. And what I realized one day was it's a beautiful goal. It's a beautiful dream. And it's going to cost a lot of freaking money. So am I in a position to do that now? No, I'm not. And therein lies the problem. I'm not in a position right now to create this beautiful dream that I have. So what do? We go, I'll let it go. Yeah, it's not meant for me. Yeah, I can't do that. Right. So I was having one of those days one day, and I was just sort of like, this is so big and it's daunting and it's terrifying to think of having to do this in order to do that, make that impact thing, to have that effect. And what I realized in that moment, I had this massive epiphany that came to me. It was like, you don't have to change the entire world. Yes, that's a massive project. Yes, it's a wonderful dream. Maybe one day you'll get there, but you don't have to change the entire world to have a really positive effect. So just really quickly, because we're coming right down to the end of the wire here, but if you think about, for example, let's say an abused woman with kids. Okay. So an abused mom with kids, if this is a person who has kind of wrapped their life around this difficult situation, what does that mean? That means that she has accepted this sort of thing. That means that by default, she is teaching her children that it's okay because she's tolerating it. And so on and so on and so on. So here's our ripples, right? So mom has this attitude that this is okay, or this belief system, or whatever it is. Kids also, and grandkids, and maybe friends, and maybe people. So you see, like, ripple, 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 ripple. So what if somebody helped that one woman to shift her perspective, to realize that she was worth better, that she was worth more, that she could have, that she could do something completely different? Think about the ripple on that. Now she goes and she creates a different way of life for herself, where she's not tolerating those things, where she's respecting and loving herself, treating herself with honor, and refusing to tolerate bullshit. How does that impact those kids? And then the grandkids and the people she works with and her social work. Do you see what I'm saying? So helping one person to shift things, that's all you have to do to create a massive ripple effect. Okay, because maybe she'll go and help somebody, and it goes on and on and on. So with that, my friends, I have to wrap things up. We are out of time. So I've got a quote that I'd like to leave with you. Whether you understand or believe it, you are a gift. What could change if you were willing to embrace that instead of hiding it? By embracing your unique brilliance, you will make a difference. You will create ripples, and those ripples could change things for so many people. Just consider that for a moment. So thank you so much for being with me. Come back and join us next Friday. I'm Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert. You've been with us on Inspired Choices Network on Time to Rise and Thrive. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Have a great week.
Thank you for joining us for Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. Jackie Mott will return next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Have a fantastic week, and remember, it's your time to rise and thrive.